Hey guys, welcome to week 37 of our video series of 52 Weeks of Personal Injury. I'm Joel, this is Chase at Williams Elleby. Today we want to talk to you about how to save money by getting your medical bills reduced in a personal injury case. So Chase, let's start with your biggest tip on how to save money by getting medical bills reduced.
Well, first, use your health insurance if you have it. That's the first thing I'll say. We get the question a lot. I know we've had a video on it about just medical bills in general. In Georgia, we have what's called the collateral source rule. So basically all that means is health insurance, liens, anything like that doesn't come into evidence when you're trying a case. So if you're hurt and you have to go to the hospital and you have a bill, say that bill's $10,000. If you have health insurance, use it, right? Because your health insurance might have a contract with the hospital where they'll reduce the bill by a certain amount and you're only responsible for your copay, deductible, whatever it might be. Well, if we have to file a lawsuit or submit a claim, we get to demand that whole $10,000, right? So the at-fault insurance company doesn't get the benefit of you having health insurance, okay? So I wanted to kind of give you all that knowledge to begin with, so when we discuss about how to get those bills and things reduced, you kind of know what we're talking about. So if you use your health insurance, the health insurance, like I said, they're going to have a reduction on whatever the contract is with the provider. So let's say of that $10,000 bill, your health insurance pays $2,000. Mm-hmm. Well, your health insurance is then going to say, hey, John Smith, if you get a recovery, we need to get our $2,000 back. We get those letters all the time. Most of the time, they are not entitled to get their money back, but sometimes they are. And when they are, we really have to negotiate and work with them and find out a way where both sides can agree to a certain amount just to have the whole case settled. So.
Yeah, and it really comes in handy to have a lawyer at that point, because if you ignore a health insurance lien and it turns out to be one of those that you do have to pay back, like they're probably going to sue you later to get their money, right?
Yeah.
So it's better to handle that on the front end and not stick your head under the rock and try to ignore it, because it's like not paying your taxes, right? If you don't pay your taxes, maybe you get away with it for 3 or 4 years, but it's gonna catch up with you. And when it catches up with you, it can be really bad. So. Right.
Yeah. And so in health insurance, just specifically, again, there's different types of plans you can have for your health insurance plan, but generally, if it's I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but I'm about to. If it's not
jump right into the briar patch, buddy.
If it's an ERISA plan, meaning if it's governed by federal law, the plan's going to control whether or not they actually have a right of reimbursement. If it's not a self-funded ERISA plan, then Georgia law controls. And if Georgia law controls, Georgia has what's called the made whole rule, or made whole doctrine, which says that unless the health insurance plan can prove that the injured party's been made whole by a settlement, then they're not entitled to any sort of reimbursement, which is very, very hard for the health insurance company to do, absent a jury verdict for a certain amount and actually being able to recover whatever a jury awards, which is very, very difficult. So that deals with health insurance.
Yep.
So what if you don't have health insurance?
Sometimes people have to treat on a lien, which basically means that either the medical provider will treat the patient and just hold their bill and place a lien on the case. It's not a lien on a house, it's not a lien on a certain asset, but it's a lien on the case itself. I guess you could look at the case as an asset, but it's like if you finance your car, if you don't pay your bill, they're going to come take your car, right? But it's a little different. They're basically giving you financial assistance or holding their bill while you treat, and then once your case resolves, then you have to go to that lien holder and pay that bill back. So it would be a mistake, in my opinion, to just pay the entire amount of that bill without first trying to negotiate it down. Because most lien holders, as long as you're nice and you communicate with them and let them know what's going on with your case, they're going to work with you on the back end and they may reduce that bill some for you. So you can save some money that way.
Right, exactly. And so I guess there's two types of lien holders. There's, if you come to us, don't have any health insurance, and you need to go see an orthopedic doctor, there's companies that will basically act as a health insurance company, get you to a provider, pay the provider for you, and they'll have a lien on the treatment that you receive. Hospital liens are a little bit different. So hospital liens are statutory in the state of Georgia, and you could have the best health insurance in the world, but if you go to the emergency room, the hospital can file a lien on your care at the emergency room. They don't have to bill your health insurance. They don't have to bill Medicare, Medicaid. They don't have to bill you a self-pay. They can just file a lien for your, $25,000 hospital visit, even though if they were to bill your health insurance, it would only cost, $1,000. So those are two. You have your statutory liens, and you have liens that are just, I guess, private liens that you have an agreement with whoever the provider is, that you will pay them back from any settlement that you get.
Yep. And the key is to understand and not hide from them. Like, just deal with them, work with the lien holder, stay in communication with them about the status of your case. If they call, they say, hey, Chase, what's going on with Joel's case? Then Chase says, hey, it's in litigation, or we're going through discovery, or whatever. And then when you get ready to settle, one key to saving money, I think, is working out a deal with the health bill, whoever has the health bill, or the lien holder, or whatever, working that settlement out before you settle the case, right? If at all possible, because if you are negotiating with them without settling the case, you can say, I need you to do this or accept X, or I'm not going to be able to settle the case.
Right.
And if you've already settled the case, then they know you've got the money, right? Or they know the check's coming and you're going to have the money to pay it. So you just have to deal with it ahead of time so it doesn't come back and bite you later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certainly different ways to kind of negotiate, get those bills or liens knocked down. So everyone benefits, right? Because at the end of the day, providers want to get paid, clients want to get paid, the lawyers want to get paid. So there's definitely ways to sort of incentivize that settlement, work with the lien holders, work with, the providers, so everyone gets, a satisfactory recovery in the case.
Yep. And one other thing I'm going to say about the benefit of having an attorney when you're dealing with certain kinds of liens. For example, the hospital lien that Chase was mentioning earlier, I'm going to tell you right now, the hospitals don't give a rip about you if you're their patient. They care about their bill, okay? And especially if you're in a car wreck, they're going to slap a lien on your case, most of them, for an absurd amount of money. I'm talking like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a CT scan or whatever. So you may go to the ER and all of a sudden you've got a $50,000 lien slapped on your case and $25,000 of coverage. A CT scan isn't worth $8,000. Okay, they would never accept $8,000 or never charge. Medicare or a private health insurer would never pay them $8,000 for a CT scan. You shouldn't have to pay them that either. So if they slap the lien on your case and refuse to negotiate with you, it's beneficial to have an attorney. And Chase just did this the other day. He had to sue a hospital to get a lien reduced for our client on the back end because the hospital was being greedy and a little bit obtuse about what they would take their bill down to. So sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. We like to try to work things out with people and negotiate with them and make sure we get to a point where everybody can live with it. But sometimes you deal with people who just won't work with you, and if you find yourself in that situation, you want to make sure you have an attorney that can take the legal action necessary to protect your interest. Okay? All right, so that's going to wrap it up for week number 37. Next week is week number 38, and it's going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to ask Chase a bunch of questions about what he would do in certain situations, and I'm not telling him what the questions are going to be before we start.
Yeah, can't wait.
So if this video has been helpful to you, we'd appreciate you giving us a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and for more entertaining subject matter, join us next week for video number 38 of our series of 52 weeks of personal injury.